Okay, hi everyone. And my dear guest here, please tell us your name.
Hi everyone, my name is Cedrique Wekesa.
Yes, and where are you from?
I am from Kenya.
Nice. How old are you?
20 years old.
Wow, 20 years old. We love to hear that.
Old, yeah.
That is exciting. What is a 20-year-old like you up to?
It depends on who you ask.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask my chemistry teacher, not so much. Yeah, my mother, yeah, she knows a bit here and there, but I like to think of myself as, according to your words, a creative.
Oh yes, exactly.
So for my sins, I am the CEO of Logicae Science, and it is essentially an educational non-profit. And we are looking to see how we are going to improve the quality and amount of scientific research and development done on the African continent to really improve the sustained creation of more innovative solutions to context-specific problems that we face in the continent.
Wow, that is amazing. What were you doing at 20, or what are you doing at 20? Because I am failing French.
Said the girl that's going to die.
That is what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. So we want to get to know a little about you as well as Logicae as well. So how many followers do you have on Instagram, on your personal account? If you know.
I don't know, like 400 or something, I think.
Wow. Okay, a year from now, we're going to ask the same questions and we'll see how many followers you will have. And on the Logicae account, how many followers do we have?
Like, just like a bit over 480-ish, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, last time I checked.
Wow, it's growing. I love it. Describe yourself in 3 words.
3 words. Spontaneous in certain situations, curious, and a learner. Yes.
Okay, that is exciting. How many people make up the Logicae team as of now?
As of now, we cut down the team to about 21 or so people.
Okay.
There was a point last year where we had about 97, close to 97 volunteers engaging with us, and it got to this point where it was really crazy, and we had by last count like 260 something people reaching out to us via email, texting us, social media, wanting to engage with us in a volunteer capacity. But right now we just settled 21.
21.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. I wonder how many people there will be in like 5 years or 10 years. And talking about the future, where do you see Logicae 1 year from now?
I think, because I'm basing this on the assumption that the summer program that we want to run this summer will go well. So because it's ideally our proof of concept, and like we will be validating the entirety of the work that we're looking to do with the Logicae Science Academy. So a few weeks after the program is done, I'm going to be publicly launching a campus development fund. So it will run for a year, and we would essentially be looking to endow the academy with enough funds to actually lease land and begin construction. So yeah.
Wow. Begin construction.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh my goodness, next year.
So if things go well, then we should ideally be beginning construction around September next year.
Oh my goodness, that is so exciting. That
is.
Wow.
It really is.
Oh my goodness. And where will this campus be? Actually?
Tentatively now, we are looking at Kenya.
Ooh, so if you're in Kenya, look out, something exciting is coming. And so, talking about future prospects, what advice are you going to give 21-year-old Cedrique who is looking at constructing a whole school? What advice are you going to give him?
What advice would I give to my 21-year-old self?
Yes.
Because, okay, taking into account that we're 21 in October, I would probably say I try and relish the moment and actually make the most out of it, be as patient as I can, and then take it one step at a time while still keeping the long-term view in mind.
Those are wise words. 21-year-old self, do you hear that? That is amazing. I love it. And what advice would you have given yourself a year ago?
Be a bit more patient with myself.
Be more patient?
Yeah, because it got to a point where I realized I was on this close to 2-year-long stint that in my head it was broken down into like small marathons. But I wasn't very deliberate about rest. I wasn't very deliberate about taking better care of myself. I wasn't very deliberate around being more patient when I experienced failure. And there's definitely a lot that I have learned over the past year and a half. But I really do think that I would have failed faster, learned faster, and succeeded faster if I was actually more patient with myself and took time and stepped back and factored in rest and actually reflected on where I was in this journey, ideally.
Thinking about reflection and taking steps and learning, what are like your daily, what can I call it? What is something that Cedric does when he wakes up? Like, take us through a day in your life, especially right now, thinking that you are a year 2 student at ALA, and each day is very different. But like, what are the main essential things that you have to do in your day?
On a good day, on a normal day, on a normal day, I would try to get at least 6 hours of sleep. So this is an ideal day, which I haven't had so many of this in the past 2 or something months. I'd be in bed by 9:30. I'd be up at like by 3:30. I'd
3:30 a.m.
It's 6 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so I take my shower and then settle down to actually do some academic work. Again, on an ideal day. So that would take me for about like a 2-hour chunk till about 5 o'clock, and then I'd spend time between 5 and 7 doing some Logicae related work and some work we're doing in a few other entities here and there. And then school will run, and then in between breaks I'd follow up with a few teams, actually see how things are going logistics wise, and whether the processes they're employing actually working out for them and where I can pitch in and help. And then after school, on an ideal day, I'll do my homework. I will do my homework on an ideal day. And then from 7 till about 9 o'clock, I would also spend like a chunk of my time on Logicae related work. And then 9 to 9:15, I'm taking a lot of time reading this book. The 5 a.m. Club. It's taken me like a year. I really thought it was going to take shorter, but it's taking way longer than I expected. And then I would be asleep by 9:30.
Oh, where is the rest? Where is the
rest
social
is 6
life?
hours. Yeah, I really need to do a better job in correcting my antisocial tendencies.
Yes, we need a social life here.
Yes, I do.
Talking about where did the name Logicae actually come from? What's the story behind that?
It doesn't mean anything at all. It literally does not mean anything, and it was a very deliberate decision because at that time we had this notion that we wanted to build this school, and we had an idea of where we wanted to go with this. But then we also realized that we needed to build a brand in the process. So making a name that does not mean anything whatsoever to actually means something to a lot of people and means something in a way that they directly connect it to our mission and vision in the work we're doing in the process. And the hard work that would have to be done between the stage and literally a random name that we're starting off from. It's because when you say I don't know, the African Science Academy or you kind of get the name straight up
straight away. But if you say Logicae,
doesn't mean
what does that mean
at all.
Oh, okay. Who chose it? Was it you? Did you choose it or someone chose it?
I don't actually remember.
Oh gosh.
I really don't. It was so this was around late March, early April last year when we were actually doing the registration for the company itself.
Wow.
And I remember it was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and Ariel, my co-founder, and I were in the dorms and just were doing work for this entity that we didn't know what it was going to be called. And then I really do not remember how that name came about. But I remember filing documents in the morning, and then in the afternoon the guys from Kenya's business registry called us, and they like, you need to fix this, and we had to redo. And then when we finally got the registration certificate and then certificate of incorporation, it was the most exciting thing, really exciting. But it only lasted for about 5 minutes until I realized that there's a lot of work that we'd actually need to do to actualize this.
Wow, what a process.
Yeah, interesting.
Wow, okay. And so, who inspires you the most? I'm pretty sure there must have been a lot of people that you're looking up to that sort of gave you the inspiration for this initiative. So who inspires you the most?
There's quite a lot of people that have been very influential in the process that not just Logicae as an organization has been through to this day, but then also me as a person. I think to a largest extent, and I wouldn't admit this to him, Ariel has, because he and I have really almost entirely different personalities. He's more on the rambunctious and spontaneous end, and I'm more on we need to look at this thing as a system, analyze how the first step is going to look like,
meticulous details.
So I'm more the operator, and he's more the crazy guy, and let's get this done. I have my moments. I have my moments, but I try and I'm a bit slower in the process, and I like to actually savor the process. I'm all about the big dreams, and we have a lot of those, but and in an interesting way, our personalities and our processes and how we view life in its entirety supplement and complement each other in really ways I never actually expected. So he has honestly been a very integral part of this process.
That is so beautiful. Oh, I need to find Ariel and have an interview with him too. I think, what is one thing you're afraid of in this whole process?
I think one of the words that I use to describe myself is a learner. Every other day I wake up and we're doing whatever work it is we're doing with Logicae, whether it's finishing up planning for logistics with the summer program, or whether it's thinking about how we're going to raise funds and draw support for the work we're doing. I'm learning every other day. So my biggest fear, as cliche as it may sound, is that I would get to a point where I was no longer learning, not in the sense of the experiences. I wasn't drawing anything from the experiences, but in the sense that I didn't have that interest and passion to actually learn and grow as we do all of this stuff. So yeah.
What a fear. What a fear. I would have said like failing.
No, I'm
afraid of
I'm
failing
actually
at all?
no, it's not something I'm not running towards failure. No, definitely not. I'm not embracing it, but I've learned so much from failure this past year and a half than I have from anything else. And it's just been, we compacted work that was supposed to take ideally 6 years into like a 6-month period of time. And there was a lot of failure involved in that process. But then we failed fast, but we learned so fast. So I'm not really afraid of it. I am trying, I do my very best to steer away from it and ensure that in everything that I'm doing and that the organization is doing, it's directed towards ensuring that we're actually successful in the work that we're doing. But whenever there's any points of failure, which have been there, this learning attitude that we've adopted throughout the entire process has really allowed us to understand how we're drawing the best lessons from failure. So it's,
we're drawing the best lessons from failure. Ooh, that is so profound. I love it. So talking about lessons, one, you learned a lot, but we need one lesson since the inception of this idea.
one lesson.
One lesson. You have to dial it down. You have to choose the biggest lesson. Which one?
Let me see. One phrase that I've really heard a lot this past year and a half is, how can I help? And it's been from people that we initiated conversations with and wanted to get feedback on some work that we're doing, or wanted to get their support in, not necessarily with regards to fundraising or whatever it is, but we just wanted to get their input on work that we're doing. And you get into this room, and in this case they're all virtual, and you start these conversations and you talk about all these big dreams that you have and whatnot, and in your head it makes sense, and most of the time it just sounds very scary when you talk about them with someone else. But I realized that when people were very willing to help us in this process, by just us also on our end being willing to talk about it and acknowledge where our points of failure were, and acknowledge where our weaknesses were, acknowledge what we were good at, capitalize on it, but then also be very cognizant and honest about where we had shortcomings. So being honest with yourself about where you are in the process, and being very much willing to acknowledge it and get help from whatever sources that you have access to.
Nice. I feel like that was a lot of lessons in one though.
It was. It was.
But I love it. I guess this is what comes with the process. A lot of lessons involved, and it's hard to dial it down.
Yeah.
Wow. So last question to end this beautiful conversation. I'm so happy we've had. What is your advice to a future African leader who is watching this video right now and is thinking about doing something crazy, and whatever it may be? What is your advice to them?
Just do it. Just like literally just start and do it. There's a lot of failure that's going to be involved, because the mantra that we have at Logicae, it's a stolen mantra from Steve Jobs, but it's really encouraging this whole concept of craziness, and actually being willing and to actually start and do it. There's a lot of failure. There's going to be so much heartache in the process, but then that's literally how the process